Hey Motorheads, it's your boy MP coming at you live and direct from San Francisco, California, and the weather has taken a turn for the better. So I thought in order to celebrate, we talk about the R8 V10 5.2 liter that just came out for 2010. And I'm not going to lie, this is the second time I've done this video because I felt like the first one really didn't do justice to how special this car really is. I've had the privilege of tracking this car around Infineon Raceway in Sonoma this past weekend and having some time alone with the car, and it's really something very, very special. You know, my father worked at Lamborghini Bentley for many years, and so I always had the opportunity of driving Murcielagos and the Gallardo when it first came out, and obviously the LP 560-4, and people would trade in Ferrari, so I drove a lot of 360s and 575s and 550s and the Super American, all these really great special cars, and those are what I learned how to drive on. And the one thing that was always extremely difficult, and one thing that I always thought about in the process when my dad was teaching me how to drive these cars, was how incredibly challenging it was. Now, these are cars that are really essentially built for the track, that people try to force and become day drivers. And a lot of Ferrari and Lamborghini owners that own these cars don't even really drive them as much as they probably would like to be driven. So the one thing that I really want to focus on with the R8 before we talk about the styling and stuff like that is how incredibly easy and user-friendly this car is to drive. And that doesn't take away with how incredible the driving experience was. It just really magnifies how special this car really is. For a lot of Audi owners out there who have had the opportunity or who have owned an RS4, the pressure in the clutch is very similar. It's heavy, but it's not like you have to work your whole leg out. It's not too light where you don't feel intimate with the road, but it's not like you're pushing weights. And that was something to me that was really important, because a lot of the times when you're driving these supercars, particularly like the older Ferraris like the 360, was how difficult the clutch is to really work, properly at least. And so it really creates a very user-friendly driving experience. The gearbox is that beautiful slotted gearbox that you used to see in the old Ferraris back when they actually made manual transmissions, and of course the Lamborghinis. You're just gating through the gears, and it sounds like you're clicking away almost like pulling a trigger of a gun. The sensation is unreal, it's unmatched. It's almost pure ecstasy when you hit the throttle of the gas in the car, and when you work the clutch properly, the things that the car can do are out of this world. And I think that what Audi really capitalized with this car is that now they're really not competing. Performance-wise, they are competing with, obviously, the 430, I don't think the 430 Scuderia so much, but the 430 and obviously the Lamborghini LP 560. But you're really diving into the Porsche Turbo market. I think they put a big bullseye on Porsche Turbo because Porsche Turbo has always been, and probably will always be, the mass-produced supercar that is user-friendly and fun for everybody to drive, that at least has some sort of driving experience. So they really got into that niche market. They did a fantastic job. The one thing that I'm a little disappointed on, and it might stir up a little commotion against some blog writers out there, is I'm not overly impressed with the R8. I did have an opportunity to spend more time in the car with the 6-speed, thank God, but I also met with the automatic transmission on the road, which is obviously what Audi calls the R8. And I felt like the shift pattern was extremely clunky, particularly as the car revs out high in first and tries to find its way into second. You get a lot of jolting going on. You don't get the smooth power release that you would expect or hope for that you do get in the 6-speed transmission. The downshift pattern is phenomenal from high gear to low gear, but besides that, I think this is a car that you would be crazy not to get a 6-speed in. I think I have driven the R8 V8 as well. It is better than the V8, that's definite. Especially the transmission, the 100 extra horsepower that they gave the car is unheard of. Speaking of which, this is a detuned 5.2 liter V10 that shares the same motor as the LP 560 Lamborghini, 525 horsepower, 391 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60, I believe in 3.8. Could be a little bit better, I could be off, but definitely under 4 seconds. It's a machine. It's glorious. I mean, even when you hit the gas, the exhaust note is like a symphony. I mean, the car is built for perfection. I've never actually been so impressed or happy with the car because you almost get the best of both worlds. I talked about the simplicity of the clutch. The driving experience is raw. It's incredible. It's mesmerizing. As you sit in the car, as you smash on the throttle, you feel like your chest is being pulled apart. The G-force is intense. The responsiveness is almost instantaneous, if not instantaneous. I mean, it's from a performance standpoint, I don't really know how much better you can get for an everyday supercar. Obviously, when we talk about the track, the 430 Scuderia is probably the gold standard for a track car. I'm not going to step on Ferrari's feet with that. But let's be real about what we're doing. How many people that own these cars are actually track performance drivers? Probably less than 3%. The car can be driven for 100,000 miles. It can be driven every single day. It's tuned beautifully. And then let's not forget what really turns all the heads behind the R8 is the styling behind the car. There's been some modifications for the V10 from the V8. You have a redesigned grille in the front. You have those big, the blades, and please, if you're going to go with the blades, which you can't obviously not get, but make sure you're getting the carbon fiber blades. They open up the air ducts a little bit. It's absolutely stunning. You have the big 5.2 motor sitting in the back, obviously with the glass so you can see it, encased in carbon fiber, hidden exhaust notes. Everything about the car is almost perfect. I'm not going to say perfect because I don't believe in a perfect car. It's as close as it has gotten for me thus far. Styling is all there. It grabs your eyes. You have those LED daytime running lights. It just pulls you in that direction. You can even get the carbon fiber encased mirrors. You have the beautiful, obviously the wheel selection is nice, the motor sitting in the back. Everything screams exotic. And when you get inside the car, everything screams luxurious. You have that beautiful Audi fit and finish. You're encased in the cabin. You feel special. You have the navigation system. A lot of these cars don't have nav. Obviously, Audi and Lamborghini share those components, so the Lamborghini will have navigation. But you have the Bang & Olufsen sound system. You have everything for your comforts that you would want out of life in the car. And then you have all the performance that you'd want out of a sports driver's car. I don't really know why you can't go with the R8. Anyone out there that's in the market and you're thinking about a Porsche Turbo and you're moving away, obviously, from Ferrari and Lamborghini because you've heard the nightmare stories of what it will do if you don't know how to properly drive. You don't want to spend $15,000 on a transmission, and you don't want to get up into the $200,000-$300,000 price range. I don't think that you can go with the R8 V8 over the Turbo, but I definitely 100% insist you consider the R8 V10 over the Turbo. It is all that and a bag of chips, to say the absolute least. I haven't been this impressed by a car in a long time, nor have I been that excited. My foot is just feeling so lonely away from that right pedal, and I think I had one of the best driving experiences of my life. Attached to this film, there's a link. It's not high intense driving, but it is us cruising in the R8 V10 for a couple of laps around Infineon Raceway. It was the introduction to the course, just so we got a little bit of a feel before we did our hot laps and high speed driving. So if you're interested just to see the layout for Infineon Raceway, it's definitely one of the most challenging courses I've ever driven, and I've had the opportunity to drive at a lot of different raceways. It's really an incredible course. It was a lot of fun. Check it all out. Don't forget also, I have to finish this off. I'm sorry this video is a little bit long. The car, aluminum space frame, absolutely extremely light to give you that much more performance. The car is extremely light with a lot of power. Remember, you can't hide body fat. I say that every single video. Very little body fat. Extraordinarily safe. You obviously want safety out of something that's fast. You have the ceramic brakes. You have the magnetic ride suspension. You have all these great things in the car that a lot of these cars don't offer you. So please keep all that in mind. And I know a lot of you are out here thinking, like, why are we wasting our time on an R8 V10? Not a lot of us can afford a $200,000 car, nor can I. But as a true car enthusiast, someone that really truly loves and cares about cars, how can we not respect the beauty of what Audi has done with these cars? How can we not respect the design, the drive, the fit and finish, the safety? Every single thing with this car has been thoroughly thought out. They did the best move ever, detuning that motor. A lot of people are like, oh, why didn't you give it the extra horsepower that the 560 has? Because Audis are known to be very heavy with that Quattro all-wheel drive system, and actually giving it 525 horsepower versus like the 550 or 560 that the Gallardo sits on, you're losing 5% weight. So it makes up for it. Don't be fooled. It's all thoroughly thought out. The car was just sensational. Please, read up on it. Learn about it. Love it. Appreciate it. This is what progression is beautiful. This is what all car manufacturers should be striving for, whether it's a $20,000 car or a $200,000 car. Take pride in what you build. In the meantime, love what you drive what you love, and keep on motoring.